Bivek, why act now?
AI has moved so quickly. It's like a tsunami. I've lived through so many technology transformations over the last 25 years. Cloud, .com before then, and actually nothing like AI has hit the market. So what we can now do with AI, with multimodality, with agentic framework, it's just like nothing we've seen before.
Since 1956, we've had traditional AI, machine learning type models. But with natural language, there was this click, in our minds that we can now interact with the technology that we needed to code before. We're getting a lot more accuracy out of these models, so the interaction becomes that much richer and deeper than it could have ever been in the last even couple of months. I love experimenting. Every time a new model comes in, I'm telling my tech team, get on it, let's see what it can do.
It's not good enough to be on the sidelines, to be second to market, third to market, because entire business models are going to be disrupted with the technology. So again, the why act now, it's not really a choice. It's something that people have to move quickly with. If you look at what AI can do, the ability that we have now to fundamentally change the way you interact with customers, the way you deliver services, the way you deliver products.
I think there's a shift fundamentally around your risk appetite as an organization, changing the way that you look at the market and you're willing to change yourself, finding a different position for yourself with your customers and within the ecosystem.
Don't just think about the same 4 or 5 competitors that you've had for the last 30, 40, 100 years. Think about the new scale-ups, and they're thinking with the customer in mind first. How can I take out all the friction points? They're not thinking, here's 32 steps, and how do I use AI to augment those 32 steps? They're saying, actually, can we do the entire thing in 2 steps and make this an engaged experience?
And they're able to change their technology to pivot much faster because they're streamlined and they're fully digital.
Large organizations are now going to have to look at the way they operate in an entirely different way in an AI landscape. It's not about protecting what we do today. It's evolving and making sure they're fit for the future and they remain not only relevant, but market leading. So look, in your experience, what do you think the best way is to accelerate the impact of AI?
I have moved away from just generative AI, but actually thinking about agentic frameworks. And the way that we do it is we try to break out the tasks that are associated with the outcome that we're trying to drive. And we're doing that, for example, in customer services, where I create different agents. One agent is a conversational agent. So it's like you and me, just having a conversation and capturing my sentiment. Then there is another agent that actually is more of a triage agent. So trying to pick out the active questions or queries that I might have, that then goes and gets routed to specialist investigation agents.
And all of these agents can be then linked as well for kind of instant decision making. We recognize this early, partly why we invested so heavily in our Agent OS framework.
We were one of the first to make cross-platform agents talk to one another. So in Agentforce, in Salesforce, we had an agent for customer servicing, and then we had IQ, and they managed to communicate and exchange information. That is a massive leap forward.
Look, the interesting thing for me is when we kind of sit back and we look at what agentic frameworks are going to do in the market, whether that's recruiting an individual, whether that's changing the entire customer journey, whether it's changing the way we deliver healthcare. And we've seen some of the stats around that. It can take out 90% plus of the compliance burdens. And so social care workers, healthcare workers can then focus on people. Now that's phenomenal.
Bivek, how do we keep up with AI in a responsible way?
Here's a good question. We were in a different world 12 months ago when the use cases we were looking at were quite straightforward. What we're now looking at is these complex workflows, multiple agents dealing with really complex business transformation and outcomes. But what people are not thinking about is the unintended consequences. What if the models, as they're trying to achieve a certain outcome, what if they go into a different direction?
I think these are really tricky things when you have so many complex processes running at the same time, talking to each other. It makes me think a little bit of the game that we used to have as kids where, talking to someone's ear and then you try and propagate that across the different people. By the time it gets to the end, it's not the word that you spoke of, and it's actually the same kind of concept. So I think if you take the variability the scalability and the security aspect of it. What we have to do is we're not only testing the scenario, we're testing the model under different conditions and trying to see whether it still meets the right objective and the right kind of answer. But also, how does it handle things that it never was trained on? And where do you put the guardrails that are necessary?
These things have to be baked in from day one. So it's not about just up front. It's continually having this governance built in, this governance as code, into almost on a daily basis, real time.
The first use case that I came up with that I thought was really important is to codify risk. It's to codify those controls.
So if I was going to take your analogy, which I really liked, it's like every time someone whispers to the next person, a third party comes along, just auto-corrects a little bit. So the last person in the chain is heard exactly what the first person intended. So certainly the way we're looking at it at PwC, we've got our responsible AI kit. There's a huge amount of work that we've done building our approach to governance and implementing it with our clients to deal with exactly this.
It's also thinking about how does the transformation of the organization responsibly evolve as well, which I think is really, really key.
It's the first time as a technologist that we've been able to solve problems that we've never even thought of touching before. It's phenomenal.